we're getting started on this job now, and you can see we've got a working footing on top of piles. Now normally you'd work on a footing or on a slab. This one here happens to be on piles. I explained that on the last video. Check that out if you want, but we only have dowels where our piles are. Normally you would have a footing dowel all 30-inch on center, something like that. But on this job, we have a working footing the width of our block, and we also have a radius form. We're actually going to use our radius block for that. We're also going to go about, 12 foot on the basement, and then we're going up from there with energy sticks inside as well. Okay, we've done the first 2 rows, and you can see what we do is we mark down the length of the walls right on the block. That way we never have to look them up again. We can always jump to that. This one started with a half block. So after we finished putting that row down, and the second row it's all tied together, we came with the transit, and we actually had to shim it up in some spots because our footing had dropped a little bit. So you can see here we got some shims on the bottom, and once we were happy with the length and the heights, the elevation is all good, we actually spray foamed it down, anchored the corners. That way it can't move. We know that we've got this thing anchored. Right here we ran into a vertical seam. So to get our perfect length, we cut right there. It's close to a corner. It can be anywhere in the wall. It could be in the middle of the wall or at the corner. This one happened to be at the corner, so we're going to go with the vertical joint there. We just put an X, so we know that we have to put a strap across that to hold it for concrete placement. And that's going to give us the exact dimension. We're not going for within an inch, we're going for the exact dimension. So if we come along this wall is 41'6". We put the vertical joint in the center of the wall, and that gives us the perfect length we need. In the bottom of this wall we have 2 20M bars. That would be the same as a number 6 bar in the US. And then we're going with number 4 bar, that's a 10M bar, going alternating back and forth on the inside face, because this is a foundation. You do it on the inside face because that's the tension side of the wall. So here we have the next corner, here we have the vertical joint, and we've actually left this 16-inch piece out just as an access for now. We'll be closing it up soon. And that's the first 2 rows. Very easy to get that established, but once you have that established, that's your pattern. So now we know that wherever the joint is, it's going to offset every second row. So all of the odd rows are exactly the same and all the even rows are exactly the same. So we just take our 90-degree corner, we flip it over, we go the opposite way each row, and that's going to give us our offset of 16-inch. Okay, we've done the first 2 rows, and because it was difficult for us to put a chalk line down, we're squaring it now that the 2 rows are done. This is more difficult doing it this way because if any of your dowels sticking out of the footing hit any of our cross ties, then it's hard to move the wall. But in this case, we were very close to start with, so it's going to work. So we've measured the walls so that the 2 front and the back wall are the same length. The 2 side walls are the same length. Now we're doing cross diagonal. That's the most accurate way to get a square.
Okay, we need another ½ inch. Now that way.
This wall that way. There's room here for it to do that. So we rack the wall like this so that it's square. That way when the guy comes to put his carpeting in, it's going to fit. Tile floor is going to fit. The kitchen cabinets are going to fit. Got to have your job nice and square, right? Okay, we got the second row is finished, and we completely finished it. We put all the rebar in. We got a double mat of rebar on the bottom, single mat on the second row, and then we shot it all in so it's all level. We put spray foam on the bottom. I don't do a continuous bead like this in most cases, but this was a ripped course, so that means it's only 8 inches high. That's the joint there. So it was a flat section there. So they actually shot underneath it a little bit and it oozed out. So it's continuous. So this is all the way around, and you can see here we have a radius started. We've established it with a radius on a piece of plywood, and we're going to continue that up. We're putting bracing on the outside on this job just because there's 1.5 feet of gravel inside here, and it's kind of hard to pound braces into the gravel. So here you can see this is what the job looks like. And now that we're happy that it's all level, we shot it in with the transit and glued it down. It's anchored, can't move, so now we can go with our 3rd and 4th row.